people call me bitter for saying this. But let's talk about the fact that as a 2023-2024 graduate, why I have applied to thousands of fucking scholarships, but the only people who are getting the scholarships are the fucking rich people! The fucking rich people!
You want to know who doesn't feel bad for you? An uncomfortable number of black people. You heard that right. See, I made a video with talking about how I get joy when I see white people crying from policies that hurt them, because those same policies were used on black people first. They target black people. We are always the what you call it, canary in the mines. Everything you have to complain about, they came for us first. But when they came for us, you never complained. Every millennial, every Gen Z, all of you, everything you have to complain about today, your parents had the chance to stop it. Your parents said absolutely nothing. They were happy, actually. They were very happy, because it meant that those policies meant that black people could not compete with them. It meant that now they knew that there was a class of people that were going to be permanently beneath them. They didn't change the laws. They didn't want it changed. This one is not even generational. This is a couple years ago. They wanted to come for colleges. They got that model minority. The Asians are always the model minority. Whenever they want to dismantle any law put in place to stop black people from being fucked, they always use Asians. And Asians are always proud to be the face of white supremacy. Wait, why did I even say white supremacy? I'm sorry, I take that back. In my life, I have never seen a horse, the best horse. I've never seen the best horse cheat. Let's start calling it what it is, white inferiority. So when they decided to come for us, it was just a couple years ago. We got up, we tried to fight it. You said, no, affirmative action, you're not worthy, you don't deserve this, blah, blah, blah. We told you what was going to happen. They're not going to give you these spots. They just want to take it away from us. You said no. Now you're watching the rich white children. Now, I said it in my other video. Now that the rich whites have taken over, you poor whites, you're in the mud with us. So from now on, everybody watching this, when you see any policy being put into place and you see black people say no, if you see any policy trying to be cut off and you see black people say no, you better fucking jump on board. Because if you don't, your children will suffer. You will suffer. You have no choice but to ally with us now.
This comment from Red D. Jones says, so true. This was always about classism. It was just begun with racism. One thing I'm very grateful for that I learned very earlier on in my deconstruction, decolonizing journey, even though back then I did not know that I was on a deconstruction, decolonizing journey. I knew what that was and meant now. Back then, I did not know what it was because I accidentally found myself on the journey, right? I wasn't always this person I was today. I wasn't very aware of what our world was like. I was living in my little bubble over here in Nigeria, Africa, thinking, oh, you know, it's kumbaya out there. Everybody loves everybody. But then I woke up accidentally. I shared in this video how it happened for me. I stumbled upon a post that was talking about racism, a word that I had never heard before in my entire 17 years of life, 17, 18, thereabouts years of life. Well, that was how I stumbled upon my deconstruction, and it led me down a rabbit hole. One thing I'm very grateful for, and I would forever be grateful for, is the fact that I was able to realize very earlier on that if there is one group of people that even I as an African person should listen to, is our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. Because as a Nigerian who was born in Nigeria, grew up in Nigeria, I've lived in Nigeria all my life, I did not get that one-on-one experience with white people like our brothers and sisters in the diaspora have with them. So and then when you put into consideration the kind of history that they teach us here on the continent in Nigeria, to be more specific now, the kind of history that they give us here doesn't paint us the right picture. It doesn't tell us what we really need to know, and doesn't inform us on how we should be navigating, which is very unfortunate. We need to move towards changing that. But the history really doesn't help us as a people, right? The kind of history that we are being taught here. One, we're not even being taught history that will empower us. Talking about history that is about what it was like before colonization, the histories we had, the things that we had built. They don't give us none of that. They basically just tell us, oh, your history starts with colonization and slavery. And that is because we are still using, unfortunately, the curriculum that the colonizers left us. But that's beside the point. I feel like I'm just, deviating upon the deviation that I have deviated before. Does that even make any sense, what I just said? But back to the point, please, for goodness sake. People don't wake up one morning and start speaking against certain things and encouraging you not to participate in certain behaviors. If one, it wasn't a problem for them, and two, if it's not going to be a problem for you. But a lot of people, unfortunately, don't see it like that. They like to be ignorant and wait till the problem comes knocking on their door. Hell, no problem knocks on nobody's door. Problems usually just knock down the entire effing door and run right through your apartment and just go hitting you in the face like that. That's usually what problems do. Many people, unfortunately, like to wait till that point where the problem comes at them, knocks down their door, and comes and start pushing them right in the face in their own apartment. And this right here isn't a behavior that you see only white people participating, because like brother said, black people have been speaking against these issues, but they did not care, because in the moment it did not affect them, right? And they never thought it would affect them, so they saw no reason to care. But me, I like to bring conversations sometimes back to my people. It's the same way now you see African American brothers and sisters, or brothers and sisters in the diaspora warning Africans, telling them, don't be so welcoming to these people. Don't be, just welcoming them into your cultures and giving them free way or leeway, telling them to do stuff, because they are going to tell you one day that this thing is them that have it, or they would end up using it anyhow, rubbish it, and then discard of it, to the point where if you are not lucky, you would not be able to salvage anything from it because of the state they will leave it in. Or worse, you would find yourself in a state where you are constantly trying to prove and justify how this culture of yours is not evil or demonic. And this using our culture is just an example. There are plethora other behaviors that we participate in that are very, very unfortunate that we still participate in these behaviors, even though we have history to look back on. Point number 2 that I think humans globally need to learn is that you are not special and your country is not special. Hell, I thought this is a lesson or a point that we would have picked up since our history of colonization, because hell, the majority of us got colonized. Anybody can collect if you are not careful. Anybody can collect if you are not at alert. Anybody can collect if you don't make sure that you are not in a position to collect, because the powers that be have been showing it to us for hundreds of years now, that they can literally give it to anybody if they want to for their selfish interest, and that literally nobody is safe and nobody is special, and this is regardless of race. So for me to be seeing people who in 2024 still are so nonchalant, where people are complaining about systemic issues and humanitarian crises and they don't care, it's crazy to me. Sometimes I wonder, is it the human ego? Is that why people have still not come to realize that they are really not special, and that one thing happening to a group of people doesn't mean that that thing cannot happen to them tomorrow? It's someone who genuinely cares about you and loves you that would give you an advice, that would give you a warning, because they know where they are coming from. They don't want you finding yourself in that same situation, that same unfortunate situation, because they love you and they care about you. That's why they are warning you. That's why they are giving you the heads up that you need, so you can avoid, finding yourself in that situation. It's only someone that loves you that will give you that kind of warning. And it's just very unfortunate that, sometimes when people look at this advice and they're like, it's just this or it's just that, it's not that deep. And that's what I really want to highlight in this video. But if we should quickly bring it back around to what the lady at the beginning of the video was crying about. I remember when I learned about how the US don't have governmental universal health care because of racism, and how they did not want to have universal health care because they did not want black people enjoying the benefits of the system of universal health care. And I was like, wait, what? The crazy thing is that the white people back then agreed to not having universal health care because they were so racist that even them did not want black people enjoying universal health care. So they decided that even them should stop. That's the thing about racism. That it's crazy to me that some racist people have not been able to realize how even them suffer because of racism. For you to be willing to let go of benefits that you can enjoy just so someone else would suffer. Like, that's a mentality that I would never be able to understand. I can understand when people either see people suffering and turn a blind eye, or when people make people suffer, either for their benefit or for whatever sick reason. I can understand it, right? Not saying I condone it, but, you know, I can process the mentality. But when people are willing to make themselves suffer just so another group of people can suffer, or when a person is willing to suffer, make himself suffer so another person would suffer, that mentality is one I would never be able to understand. They were willing to suffer just so black people can suffer, and today they are still suffering from these things. It's crazy. It's insane. Anyways, I'm going to be leaving this here. This is a quick one. Do let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are. And of course, as always, I would see you guys in the next one. Bye.